Most Christians stay poor despite the numerous blessings that God has availed for us in the scriptures. And today I would love to share with you 4 reasons why I think this is so. So, without any further ado, let's get started. The first reason is the place of financial literacy, that Christians are taught about giving the 10% that give your first fruit, give your tithe, but we're not taught about the 90% that remains, that after giving your 10%, after giving your tithe, the things that remain, what do you do with it? The basics of financial management, the basics of business management, we are not taught these things. And these things are supposed to start from the church, because we see that Jesus talked about money more than anything else. There's no topic that Jesus talks and touched more than the topic of money. And that's why we even see that in the birthplace of Christianity in Israel, we see that the Jews are among the richest people in this world. And this is not by no accident, because they emphasize the aspect of financial literacy from a very young age. Their children are taught about money management, money mastery, business management, and business skills, and all these things here is incorporated into their daily lives. But this is the thing that we see most churches lack today, that they do not have such conversation. And this is partly because of the blind guides that we have, that many pastors do not have even the basic knowledge of financial literacy, financial management. So how are they able to teach the members about such things? So that's the first reason that most Christians do not have financial knowledge, financial literacy. And then the second reason is the dangers of religion, that religion thrives around and survives around controlling people. One of the tools that it uses to controlling people is poverty. And that's why we see that as communities start to develop and start to build wealth, one of the things that they throw away is religion. They put religion at the backseat, as you might be noticing in certain parts of the world like Europe and America, because religion, they see it to be a more of like an hindrance towards the financial freedom and liberty, because it tries to control you by keeping you poor. And how it does this is because of the teaching. I think it teaches things like, if you're poor, then maybe you're holy. I think that all prosperous people, all wealthy people, all rich people, they must have done something wrong. Maybe they must have sacrificed something. They must have sold their soul to the devil. All these things. I think that's what religion does. It tries to keep you poor so they can control you. And then the third reason, the delusion of demonic attacks, that most Christians will attribute the failures of their life, the failures of their business, the failures of their career to some sort of demonic attack. But if you keenly study their life, you really notice that and see that it is because of a lack of a certain pattern and principles, that the Christians do not have the basic principles like time management, like patience, like diligence, like faithfulness. We see that the Christians are the most untrustworthy people in the world. We see the Christians are the people who are latecomers, the people who are not even patient with others, the people who are ever judging, and we see all these things. That's why we see that sometimes the world doesn't even admire some being a Christian, because if you are a Christian and you do all these things, then like I think how different, even me, I'm better than you, because we see it in the world today that sometimes we even see the ungodly people, they live a more righteous life than the Christians. I think because Christians lack the basic patterns and the principles of life. And so what they do is that if they're failing in one area of their life, there must be some demon. Yeah, so let's break it, let's attack it and do all those things. It's because of a lack of pattern and principle. And that's why we see that most times they end up in that cycle of trying to build a business, and then it fails. Then they say, it's a certain demon. Then they try to fight that demon, and then they go back. I think it's an endless circle, because they lack the basic principles and patterns of life generally. And then the last reason, laziness, that we rather pray about something rather than giving that extra effort, that we rather go for a camp meeting rather than attending a business conference that will teach us about financial management, how to manage the cash flow of our business. I think we rather do all that rather than going for the thing that will help our business, rather than, I think we're so focused on the spiritual things of it, which is all good. I think that should focus on the spiritual thing, but should also make the balance, because wisdom is also in the streets, that look for all sorts of spiritual wisdom, nourishment, but also look for nourishment that will build your aspect of financial management and business management. And because we see that now, that if certain things go wrong, then they start blaming the devil, that the devil has done this, the devil has done this. But really, because they are lazy to put in that extra effort. They're lazy to go and attend certain of some meetings that will better them, make them better, and make them be in a position where they're able to make better decision for their life. So it's important that we put the place of financial knowledge, literacy, at the forefront of the church today. But because if we leave out that thing, then we will lose out many Christians, because most of them will die in poverty. And if some break out, then they look at the church to be a hindrance factor, because they're not really taught about these things here. But really, just most of the things that we are taught is the place of taking from people that give, but not really taught what to do with the thing that remains. So those are some of the reasons why I found some of the reasons that I came up to try to explain why most Christians stay poor despite the numerous blessings that God has availed for us in the scripture. So thank you so much. Hope you're blessed by this. See you next time. Shalom.